Part 5 of O Pioneers, Alexandra, Chapter 3. The next afternoon, Carl and Alexandra were walking across the fields from Mrs. Hiller's. Alexandra had left Lincoln after midnight, and Carl had met her at the Hanover station early in the morning. After they reached home, Alexandra had gone over to Mrs. Hiller's to leave a little present she had bought for her in the city. They stayed at the old lady's door but a moment, and then came out to spend the rest of the afternoon in the sunny fields. Alexandra had taken off her black traveling suit and put on a white dress, partly because she saw that her black clothes made Carl uncomfortable, and partly because she felt oppressed by them herself. They seemed a little like the prison where she had worn them yesterday, and to be out of place in the open fields. Carl had changed very little. His cheeks were browner and fuller. He looked less like a tired scholar than when he went away a year ago, but no one, even now, would have taken him for a man of business. His soft, lustrous black eyes, his whimsical smile, would be less against him in the Klondike than on the Divide. There are always dreamers on the frontier. Carl and Alexandra had been talking since morning. Her letter had never reached him. He had first learned of her misfortune from a San Francisco paper, 4 weeks old, which he had picked up in a saloon, and which contained a brief account of Frank's Shibata's trial. When he put down the paper, he had already made up his mind that he could reach Alexandra as quickly as a letter could, and ever since he had been on the way, day and night, by the fastest boats and trains he could catch. His steamer had been held back 2 days by rough weather. As they came out of Mrs. Hiller's garden, they took up their talk again where they had left it. "But could you come away like that, Carl, without arranging things? Could you just walk off and leave your business?" Alexandra asked. Carl laughed. "Prudent Alexandra, you see, my dear, I happen to have an honest partner. I trust him with everything. In fact, it's been his enterprise from the beginning, you know. I'm in it only because he took me in. I'll have to go back in the spring. Perhaps you will want to go with me then. We haven't turned up millions yet, but we've got a start that's worth following. But this winter I'd like to spend with you. You won't feel that we ought to wait longer on Emil's account, will you, Alexandra?" Alexandra shook her head. "No, Carl, I don't feel that way about it. And surely you needn't mind anything Lou and Oscar say now. They are much angrier with me about Emil now than about you. They say it was all my fault, that I ruined him by sending him to college." "No, I don't care a button for Lou or Oscar. The moment I knew you were in trouble, the moment I thought you might need me, it all looked different. You've always been a triumphant kind of person." Carl hesitated, looking sideways at her strong, full figure. "But you do need me now, Alexandra?" She put her hand on his arm. "I needed you terribly when it happened, Carl. I cried for you at night. Then everything seemed to get hard inside of me, and I thought perhaps I should never care for you again. But when I got your telegram yesterday, then it was just as it used to be. You are all I have in the world, you know." Carl pressed her hand in silence. They were passing the Shibata's empty house now, but they avoided the orchard path and took one that led over the pasture pond. "Can you understand it, Carl?" Alexandra murmured. "I have had nobody but Ivar and Signa to talk to. Do talk to me. Can you understand it? Could you have believed that of Marie Tovesky? I would have been cut to pieces, little by little, before I would have betrayed her trust in me." Carl looked at the shining spot of water before them. "Maybe she was cut to pieces too, Alexandra. I am sure she tried hard. They both did. That was why Emil went to Mexico, of course. And he was going away again. You tell me, though, he had only been home 3 weeks. You remember that Sunday when I went with Emil up to the French church fair? I thought that day there was some kind of feeling, something unusual between them. I meant to talk to you about it, but on my way back I met Lou and Oscar and got so angry that I forgot everything else. You mustn't be hard on them, Alexandra. Sit down here by the pond a minute. I want to tell you something." They sat down on the grass-tufted bank, and Carl told her how he had seen Emil and Marie out by the pond that morning more than a year ago, and how young and charming and full of grace they had seemed to him. "It happens like that in the world sometimes, Alexandra," he added earnestly. "I've seen it before. There are women who spread ruin around them through no fault of theirs, just by being too beautiful, too full of life and love. They can't help it. People come to them as people go to a warm fire in winter. I used to feel that in her when she was a little girl. Do you remember how all the bohemians crowded around her in the store that day when she gave Emile her candy? You remember those yellow sparks in her eyes?" Alexandra sighed. "Yes, people couldn't help loving her. Poor Frank does, even now, I think, though he's got himself in such a tangle that for a long time his love has been bitterer than his hate. But if you saw there was anything wrong, you ought to have told me, Carl." Carl took her hand and smiled patiently. "My dear, it was something one felt in the air, as you feel the spring coming, or a storm in summer. I didn't see anything. Simply, when I was with those two young things, I felt my blood go quicker. I felt, how shall I say it, an acceleration of life. After I got away, it was all too delicate, too intangible to write about." Alexandra looked at him mournfully. "I try to be more liberal about such things than I used to be. I try to realize that we are not all made alike. Only why couldn't it have been Raoul Marcel or Jan Smirka? Why did it have to be my boy?" "Because he was the best there was, I suppose. They were both the best you had here."